Welcome to Silicon Valley Impact, where business insight meets startup innovation. Live from Silicon Valley, California, please give a warm welcome to your host, Brian Sparks!
Yes, Brian, when you took that deep breath, I got a little nervous. Where were we going with this? All right, well done. Welcome.
Hi, Brian. How you doing? Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
I know you want to
Brian.
launch, but I'm just going to give a little hello before you do.
I love when you do that.
Yeah,
I know.
I know, because you just want to be like, let's get on with it. I got a preamble that I got to read that I haven't memorized for the last year and a half, and you just want to get on with your duties.
Actually, yeah. So I can double click on that. My brain disconnects at that moment, and I just go into just reading this for like 2 seconds.
I think it's because you're just so enamored with my introduction, and you're like, oh my God, I'm Brian Sparks. That's me.
How do I follow that?
Yeah.
Who's he talking about? Yeah.
You guys got the juice today.
It just kicks in. Yeah. All of a sudden, it's just, I don't know where it comes from.
All right. I'll let you get on with it. Let's hear your preamble, Brian.
Okay. Welcome to Silicon Valley Impact. I'm your host, Brian Sparks. The purpose of this show is to have honest conversations about what it takes to build great businesses and communities so that you can make an impact within your own. Wait, what happened?
I think that for me and the rest of the listening audience, I think we need to know, is it in your own or within your own? How's it written?
Within your own.
Oh, within your own. Okay, got it. I appreciate that.
Okay.
I don't mean to be like argumentative here. I just don't know my own, I don't know my lines.
You're listening for your cadence. I
know,
get that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, within your own. You want to try again? No, I'm kidding. Please don't.
All right. Enough of the shenanigans, Brian. Settle in.
I'm
All
ready.
Right. We have some great guests today. Super excited to have Hans back. Hans, again, I think you're about ready to get that Silicon Valley / SNL 5-time jacket pretty soon for being here.
Hey man, I'll take
Is
it.
it 4 times?
I think it's 4. I think this is time number 4.
Okay, next time you're here, bro, you're gonna get the Silicon Valley jacket,
Smoking jacket.
the smoking jacket.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'll take that. I'll take a robe, anything like that. Right? Yeah.
And then you have to wear it hereafter when you come back.
No problem.
I love it. All right, thanks for being here. You brought in Akash. Akash, good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you too, Brian.
Yeah, you're back and forth Silicon Valley. You're launching a great company. We're gonna talk all about it. So I want to thank you for being here. Your busy schedule.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you guys got a lot going on. I can't wait to talk about it. And then Iddo, good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you.
Yeah, glad to have you too. You're kind of a local resident a little bit. You're in Palo Alto. I mean, I feel like we're expanding, Brian. We have people flying in from all over the world.
We have people who are right here in Silicon Valley, up the peninsula, San Francisco.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we're worldwide.
Yeah. And so when somebody lives just around the corner, we get a little excited nowadays. It's like you're,
Hans
neighbor.
lives right around the corner too, doesn't he?
well, San Francisco feels,
Hans, you're in the city?
I'm in the city.
it feels like another world sometimes.
I don't know.
If
you've you just because you haven't lived there, and besides that, it makes you nervous.
Yeah, the parking.
The driving, the parking,
Yeah.
all the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, the craziness gets you kind of riled up.
Well, I'm shaking loose of that being in Oakland now.
Oh,
So I really
good.
can't use that as an excuse anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I spent half the time here in Las Gatos.
Yeah.
I don't know where I am anymore.
Well, if you've ever lived in the city, you know that between Los Gatos and San Francisco, it's just nothing. I mean, it's really nothing, right? Other than the fact that you get a
Well,
little bit
Ito's
more
like, wait,
down
that's
here.
home. Wait, I live in Palo Alto. That's home.
You do have all the FANG companies in between that too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, so we're having a good time here. All right. So
yeah, enough of this.
enough of that. We got a lot of events.
Who cares about us? Let's talk about other stuff.
We have a ton of events happening. In fact, I think Hans, you and Akash are having a couple events coming up, right?
We are.
Yeah, at top of the hour, give us a little insight on what you guys are working on. Now keep in mind, our listeners are going to be hearing this technically a week later, so you have one more coming up and one just passed
Yeah.
based on our listeners' ear. But talk about who you're bringing in and then what you're working on through these events.
Yeah. So I'll talk about the ones that we did prior. I'll let Akash talk about the ones we're doing in the next little bit. But
Hey Hans, before you get started, can you just give a brief introduction? We skipped introduction.
Oh, did I see?
I just want people to know who they're talking to.
Okay, let's do that first. Hans, first, let's start with Iddo, and then we'll work down to Hans. So Iddo, give a little introduction about yourself and what you're working on.
For sure, yeah. I'm a Silicon Valley entrepreneur. My wife once time said that we launched 2 kids and 5 startups in the last 20 years. The 2 kids are huge success, but not all startups were like that. The last 2 were good, and today we funded the Raise the Round when we're cherry picking top founders and help them raise the round.
So Raise the Round is tell us a little bit more about what is Raise the Round.
Yeah, like if you are a founder that you have an amazing startup, you're just struggling with the round, need some help. We're in the Silicon Valley here. There is a full method of how to do a successful rolling closing, where you're doing an engineering and approach to fundraising and get yourself into a roadshow with angel investor. The goal is on not just FFF or the big VCs, and systematically approach them and gradually raise between $5 to $7 million.
Amazing.
So based on, just to kind of clarify for our audience, you have this experience with startups. Akash, you've got a lot of experience. You're going to share a little bit about that. Maybe you two can bounce off each other with that experience. But you're now in helping founders along that path as well. Is what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it's funders do all the work, right? And then they either ghost you or say, get back to me when you have more traction. Have you heard that before? So how do you overcome those objections? How you get yourself into the right investor for your space and your stage and practically raise the round?
I love it. Okay, so we'll double click on that and talk a little bit about what it takes for founders who are listening to raise their round. What are some of the obstacles in overcoming that? So we'll do a deep dive in that. Akash, this is also not your first startup, but give it a little intro about who you are and what you're working on.
Sure. So I'm a 4-time serially board founder. Started my first company in 2003. Always been in infrastructure, sold that in 2011. Started one more in 2008, sold that in 2015. Built one more in 2012, which was a complete disaster. And in 21, started working on the technology, which has become TheAgentic now. So right now running a company called TheAgentic. We build large language models, agentic memory, deep research platforms. And we also work with a lot of founders who are not technical to help them build their AI product with no financial risk.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay. So I know a lot of our audience is going to hear how to get involved with that and connect with you, because what you're doing is really changing the game in terms of bringing product to market. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's correct. So in many cases, the founders are very deep on a domain or technical, but not AI technical. Like we're coming from biotech, cybersecurity, space tech, wherever, and they lack an AI engineering team. And it's expensive. So we basically become the AI engineering team, take no money until they're able to raise money. And in case they don't raise money, they don't owe us anything.
That's a unique model. Not many are doing that full time, but that is built into your secret sauce. Is that what I'm hearing?
That is correct.
And you said that those who aren't technical, or those who are technical and those who aren't technical can come to you to kind of help form what it is that they have an idea about. I mean, they could bring the napkin to you pretty much, and you can help them put this together. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, absolutely correct. That's the way we work. So it's generally the founders we work with, again, deep domain expertise in areas like life sciences, supply chain, semiconductors, but lack the AI engineering experience. And but to build good AI for these sectors, you need, I feel domain expertise is a lot more important than AI expertise. So we become their AI expertise, invest in helping building a product live, take it to customers, and only take money when they're able to do a successful fundraise. So
Okay,
that's
I love it. All right, Hans, there's some of we're growing out there, so there's a lot of people who are listening for the first time, haven't had a chance to hear you. But those of you who are here for the first time, you can go back and listen to those episodes with Hans. I think you're brilliant. You're a good friend of mine. Good to have you back. But give a little intro what you're working on.
Hey, thanks, man. Honored to be here. So Hans Sandhu, CBO of TheAgentic. I work with this fellow right here as my colleague. Grown up here in the convergence of capital and technical markets is the way I like to describe it. Have had the opportunity to work for early stage venture-backed companies for about 100 dog years. Translated that success into becoming an angel, doing a significant amount of advisory consultancy work, as well as investing into venture too. But what we do now with TheAgentic and the path that we've taken for some of these founders is just, it's an amazing experience to be about. And the events that we did over the past few weeks or month, more or less, were some of these founders and stories in these businesses that have essentially gone from, an idea to creating a product to generating commercials off of that. Some of them doing it in a period of about 4 months with pre-seed cap tables. So it's an amazing platform that we've created, but the stories that we're creating along these lines are amazing. And to what Akash mentioned too, it's individuals in our minds that understand the nuance of their space, understands what we call translatable business value towards the particular use case, and are building automations or agents along the lines of that.
Well, open that up a little bit more. What does that mean? That last little piece where you're really disrupting how people go to market with this technology.
So what we're seeing is, right, like if you've been in the space for, 10 years, 15 years, right, you understand the nuances of what you're doing within your industry. If you're starting a company, you probably have connections or maybe individuals you can think about for design partners, things of that nature, right? So what we're seeing is individuals that can go express themselves to go, potentially get themselves into those design groups or those partners. And they're going from, hey, understanding that this is a thesis that I have, maybe this is translatable. Can I actually prove this into something that actually is defined, right? Mm-hmm. So we're seeing that happen very quickly. One of the other things that I find very interesting within just the enterprise space and what we're seeing is that, most POCs or pilots in AI, they're not going through. But however, a lot of the clients that we're working with and partners we're working with are generating revenue very fast because not only do they have technology that actually works at scale and in production with us, but more importantly, they understand that, again, that translatable business value associated to what they're working on.
Mm-hmm. And so we'll work from this side of the room back towards me. I'm curious. I hear founders talking about needing to get to their MVP. And I'm hearing you say that someone can come with an idea to you, but also don't necessarily need the funding. This is revolutionizing how people launch a startup. Mm-hmm. I mean, say that again so it gets around my mind and also those who are listening. Is it really that simple? Or make it simple and understandable for us. I come with an idea to you, yet you build the product and they owe nothing until they start making a profit. Seems disruptive. Help me make sense of that. And Akash, I want to hear from you. You're leading this charge, and you've got Hans with you. Brilliant. How are you guys doing that?
Sure. So the way our program works is we generally work with, again, founders who have deep domain expertise in some vertical. And I feel currently the biggest opportunities in AI are very verticalized. Horizontal AI is a very competitive space. The real opportunities are highly verticalized, almost a vertical within a vertical within a vertical kind of a scenario. Mm-hmm. So our approach is founders who have an idea of how to either automate a process or essentially build some kind of deep research system using AI specific to that domain. Now, the domain could be life sciences, semiconductors, aerospace, domains where basically you need 15, 20 years of working experience before you can build something. You can't have a 22-year-old building a great AI for life sciences. It doesn't work. You need to have to work in that domain for years. So our approach there is we work with the founder where we'll build the entire product, typically within a 3 to 6 month period, depending on the complexity of what the product is. Work with them to get it live in anything from 2 to 10 customers, depending, again, the customer population for their product. Mm-hmm. And then go and raise money, because then essentially you've eliminated pretty much any risk the investor sees on the technology in terms of the customer base. And you're just having you just get much better terms with the investors. And the way we make our money is quite simple. We've got our own language models. We make money from there. And generally, all partners we work with engage us to be their AI engineering partner, even once they've raised money. So that's how we make. We don't take any equity in any startup. We don't basically do that. It's very clear. We make our money being an engineering partner as well as on our language model.
I love it. And so it almost sounds like with these events, you're educating a new audience of potential entrepreneurs, because for the most part, it's been raise, friends and family, go build an MVP, test. And in there, you could really kind of tap into this. People get caught in that cycle and never go any further. And you've pretty much streamlined that at first step and gave people that advantage, I guess, getting to market.
Right.
I loved it. So, I want to bring you in on this. Talk a little bit about those early stages from your perspective when it comes to raising the rounds. I mean, you're hearing about this new technology, everything's moving faster. Talk a little bit about your experience, number one, with your startups. What were some of your early stage hurdles? And then what are you seeing now? Is it different as you help others versus when you were launching? What's kind of these early stage hurdles that you've seen?
And I'll say, I really like what Akash is doing, which is the missing layer of AI. Like if somebody is a domain expertise, has a big domain expertise in a vertical, but they don't know how to add the AI layer, so you guys provide it for them.
Yep.
Kudos for that. As a founder, I made hundreds of mistakes raising money. I think that number one mistake was chasing intros. Have you ever seen in sales basing your whole sales on chasing intros? It just doesn't make sense. Going to meet accountant, hoping to get intros to investor, going to meet lawyers, everyone in the field, instead of systematically creating a fundraising engine that creates you qualified investors in your space, in your stage, constantly on a regular basis. And I think mistake number two is that founders go and try to raise the whole round with one VC from the Silicon Valley, one big VC, which almost never happens. They will meet you, they get super excited about you, but they will definitely not invest. So how do you create a rolling closing that brings you more investors, you bring more value in, you create momentum, social proof, you have more budget to operate, and create a beautiful rolling closing seed round. So I think those are there's many mistakes I used to do as a founder.
Talk a little bit about, for those who haven't heard what a rolling close is, what does that look like, and how do you get away from just crashing into someone's DMs and saying, hey, I'm looking to raise, can you help me? What does that look from the rolling close perspective?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that in general, mastering rolling closing is freedom, right? The ability to go and raise money on demand again and again. That's the number one job of a tech CEO. Yes, you can bootstrap it for a while, but can you become the market leader? And if you cannot become the market leader bootstrapping it, somebody will, and good case scenario, you will become a talent acquisition. Rolling closing, the principle for good rolling closing is putting all the ducks in a row, which means like have a killer pitch deck, have a great pipeline for investors, an outreach message that get them intrigued and wants to meet you. And after then get them excited, get them want to invest, which is still far from invest. And each one of those mental stages of the investors has tools to help you move to the next level. And if you look at it like a sales funnel, engineering approach, it suddenly become less outside your comfort zone as an engineer because it's more structured and make more sense to a lot of tech founders.
So are you saying line up your messaging in the sense of, get your pitch deck ready, give yourself some time to establish relationships, do events, whatever it takes to build trust and relationship before making an ask? Is that what you're meaning by lining it up?
No, absolutely not. That sounds like so much work.
No, more. There's more. Break it down. Tell me what it is.
Come on, look at us. We're geeks. The last thing we want to do is create events and create all of that. Maybe few percent, but most of us, we're product-oriented founders, right? We want to work on the product. Who wants to go to raise money? But once you become good in it, it becomes like fundraising, not fun. Like without the D, like you like a kid that master a game and you like doing it. And the way I recommend to do it is to create a real funnel of investors that generate for you the meeting with investor, craft a very strong outreach message that have the company descriptor or at least 3 wow factors that get investors intrigued and really wants to meet you. And after that, learn how to manage the meeting, how to pitch for 5 minutes, how to frame the meeting, how to let them get, most of the meeting, the investor need to think out loud. Mm-hmm. You're almost supporting them with data if they need. You need to learn to be quiet and practically help them get to this aha moment that they say, wow, this is big. This Akash, I'm literally sitting with a CEO of a potential unicorn. And when they get to this, you notice that they start to say, oh my gosh, we can do that, we can do that. You see the excitement, the rosy glasses, colored glasses, and that moment is beautiful. That's when you move to the closing phase that you have to manage as well. If you go out of a meeting and you say, hey, Akash, how was the meeting? You say, that was a great meeting. I said, what's the next step? said, I don't know, I'm waiting to hear back from them. That's not a good meeting. A good meeting that you define next step, you manage the process together with them, and you lead it like any sales to closing.
Exactly.
Okay, I love it. So let's look again at this early stage of building what you guys are building. Akash, tell me a little bit about, I mean, this is you said your
Fourth startup.
Fourth startup. What made you see the big pain point and try to tackle this challenge with the growth of AI? And tell us how that kind of came to you. What was the pain point? And then how have you built what you're building right now?
Okay, I think that's a lot of evolution. I don't think we planned this from day one. The plan on day one was to build an OpenAI competitor with large language models. Mm-hmm. And while building large language models, we realized that building reliable AI is a very difficult problem. And especially as you get vertical into high stakes verticals like life sciences, making it reliable is very, very difficult. And at some point of time, the industry will realize that you need reliability on AI. A lot of what we saw last year was cool looking demos, which never worked. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So the initial thrust was, again, how do we work with someone who has the relevant domain expertise, and we have that ability to build reliable AI and marry that together. And that sort of kind of over a period of time evolved into this kind of program that we've built. I don't think we from day one planned the program the way it is right now. It sort of almost evolved into it. And partly it's driven by the fact that courtesy AI, the cost of building software has dropped. And if you have experienced folks, they can build a product fairly quickly, which luckily in our case, because we build our own language models, we build our own memory systems, we're able to, the same folks are working on building products for the customers. So you don't make the same mistakes. You can get a product out there early. And generally all founders we work with, we always tell them at least have 2 or 3 customers ready right from the day you have a basic MVP that you can demonstrate to them.
So while you're
success,
so while you're building it, they turn that over. They're going out and finding customers.
Yep. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so that is constantly keeping the movement going in the right direction. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so someone goes out and starts finding customers. You're on your way building them a product. They come back and they say, "Hey, I've been talking to customers and they don't like the original."
That's fine. We do. I think pretty much all founders we worked with, there's been a lot of evolution or revolution to the original product idea, and that's not a bad thing. At least the initial effort got the conversations going. It got the action going. Mm-hmm. And one interesting thing we're seeing also with AI is, and this is something we've kind of come to the realization in the past few months, that this is going to be very different from the world of SaaS or software, where you're trying to create a product that you make almost 0 modifications per customer. Mm-hmm. With AI, everybody's going to ask for custom intelligence, because that is what creates alpha for the customer, right? Everybody doesn't want a lowest common denominator SaaS application. And maybe for non-core stuff, yes. But let's say if I'm working with a biotech company and I'm building an AI to help, say, with some clinical trial processes, they want to build custom AI for that particular job. So the good part is you don't have to, the more you engage with customers early, the more you're able to say, okay, I'm not only just giving you a product, I'm basically building a custom AI system for you, where you're leveraging the experience you've gained while building the product to help design that custom AI, more in the form of a success-based approach. That basically is a big change in the software world we're seeing. Mm-hmm. I think it's early days where I think you're coming back to the time when software used to be custom. It went from custom to being packaged. Mm-hmm. And I won't be surprised to see that in mid-market or enterprise or in SMBs, people will go back to writing custom AI, because not because of cost, not because of maintenance, because that's what generates the alpha. That's what generates the differentiation for their end customer. Mm-hmm. If everybody's got the same AI, there's no differentiation basically left.
Yeah. Are there more founders coming to you as solopreneurs, or do they still need this team? Because it sounds like one person could come to you and say, "Hey, I have this idea.
Yes.
Can you build it?"
Absolutely. All the founders, I think, except for probably a couple of them where they are kind of a team, pretty much all of them have been solopreneurs.
So you're really getting an opportunity to almost drag the ecosystem for people who have an idea but just didn't know how to get off on the right foot. Hans, what has been your experience in really bringing this concept to market and finding those early stage entrepreneurs where, they're not, it seems like before everyone's in the process of building and then they're looking for funding, and there's a lot of noise going off, but now you're essentially going to somebody, or they're coming to you, or you're going to them, whatever it may be, and you go, never mind the noise. We can just build it. You don't need to raise right now, but you could do this. You can have this this rolling close. You can do it a little bit more effective. How are you reaching the market at such an early stage?
Yeah, so we're doing a lot of events, right? We do a lot of thought-provoking events in the sense where we don't just talk about, hey, you can go build this and do all these amazing things. We talk about the technology first, right? Because that is really what truly differentiates all of us in our minds, right? There's been a significant amount of funding that's gone into AI products that haven't worked at scale, and in our minds really haven't had true architectural conversations around what constitutes success of these products, right? There's a lot of horizontal products. So when we talk to early stage founders, we can very quickly identify, does this have validity based off of our experiences working in the space?
And real quick, what are some of those top level validity points? Things you look for?
I would say something that's translatable across their space where they understand, hey, we've done it this particular way. I know how much this is worth. Can we build something across this? That is literally it, right? I think you met the individual, Eric. Eric is the founder of a company called Cal Concierge. Cal Concierge came to us at VC Nest with a napkin. Akash and I sat with him and said, this is a viable idea. And the viability off of it was just from his experience, right? In 20 years of being in selling real estate, he'd spent about a fourth of that time between scheduling, vendor appointments, things of that magnitude, and then came to us with literally an idea of saying, hey, is this viable? Can you think about this in these capacity? And of course, we went out and built it for him. Does that work in every domain? No, it doesn't, right? But for that particular domain, it does.
So it's putting a lot more pressure on founder fit.
I would say so too. I would say so, but at the same time, what I'm seeing with some of the founders is there's a lot of science projects going on, right? And it's easy for you to go run science projects. The individuals that I see that are excelling are the ones that are saying, okay, I understand this problem. I just need to go find a good design partner and go execute. That is it. That's what we're telling, our founders. So one of the prerequisites is, essentially come to us with not POCs, but potentially design partners, right? Warm conversations, whether that be through referrals, through your own space, whatever it may be, right? How do you get those individuals to engage with you is a whole other strategy, but come to us with that and we can help create a solution that's holistic for that organization.
So I've been screaming this from the mountaintops long before AI, that startup is built on pain. It's identifying a pain in the market and then saying, I have enough experience and the understanding of that pain to bring those two things together. And so what you're saying is, if you as the founder don't have the empathy or the insight of what pain is going on in the market, you can't build a product and then go looking for that problem to solve. You got to have both. And that sounds like kind of like what is the top shelf identifier of what may be a viable product. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Short and to the sweet.
I would challenge that.
Kick the hornet's nest. Let's see I love it.
I've been waiting for it.
We all founders, before I brush my teeth in the morning, I have another stupid idea for a startup. And they always start stupid. What makes them good idea is that you sell before you build. Yeah. You literally go to the market, you show a few screenshots that it took you a few hours to build, and people have good imagination, people can understand the product, and they challenge you. And you go to the target audience, they say, I don't like that, I don't like that. You need to frame it correctly, of course. Yeah, right, I'm about to invest in that, so I need a true opinion. Don't sugarcoat it. And people will tell you the truth. People say what you like. And once you nail a real pain for customer, if you go to enough of them and they want it, you charge for that. You say, okay, we will buy it. Can you pay? Because many people say, yeah, it's a great idea. Well, they will never pay for that. Once you have something people are actually paying and you're able to sell it, then you should go to Akash and build it, right, with you guys.
Actually, I agree with you, and that's what most of the founders we work with do. Our first, if it's a 6-month engineering cycle, our first goal is within a month to have something fairly meaty that they can demonstrate to potential customers as a feedback mechanism. Because we also know that the initial piece, the first feature list is not what's going to be the product. It's going to go through 3-4 iterations, which is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And the nice part here is your customers engaged in the iteration process along with you. And that's what we encourage founders to do, is that we'll work with you in 3-4 weeks. Let's have something which is more than screenshots, but it's not production grade by any stretch of imagination. And then use the next 3, 4, 5 months, whatever it takes, depending on the complexity of the idea you're working on, to iterate and basically. So the founders we work with, we tell them, look, we completely understand the initial idea you're going to come to us with, and what finally gets built is going to be 2 different things, and that's fine. It's the process of basically going through these steps, which sort of gets you to where you need to get to.
What about the other side of it? Okay, so we're talking about a founder who has expertise in a particular area, and they understand where the pain is. What if there's somebody who says, hey, I can see a pain, or I've experienced a pain in a particular area just based on a certain, maybe a flash experience, but they don't have years. Can someone come to you with an idea who doesn't have years of expertise and it still be created? Or are you stepping back and saying, no, you kind of need that history behind you to help us build it? I mean, because what I'm hearing some of our audience thinking right now is, well, I don't have expertise in X area, but I have an idea that I know will solve a problem.
Sure. Oh no, we don't insist that that person should have a track record in that industry for long enough. Mm-hmm. So we have a founder who's 25 years old, came with a very good idea of how to use short videos to sell fairly technical products. And it said, we liked the idea. We said, okay, sure, we'll go and build this. It also depends a lot on the industry. So like if you're in an industry which is highly regulated or highly technical, like if you're into life sciences, you do need the experience, because 80% of it is not imagination. 80% of it is just sheer knowledge of getting it right. Mm-hmm. But if you're doing stuff in the go-to-market space, or there's a lot more room for just purely creative ideas, where you don't need that kind of industry expertise or those connections to make it work.
So I got to ask you, we have a lot of startups in here, and one of the things that we'll always ask them if they're fundable is, who is your competition? Mm-hmm. Who's doing this now? And so for you guys, this seems like a no-brainer for a lot of early stage founders. Like, come to TheAgentic and we'll build your product. Who also, are there others out, and you got to call them out by name, but are there others out there doing it the way that you guys are revolutionizing this approach?
Yeah. There are other companies doing this. I think where we probably differentiate is, one is we are willing to take that risk, saying if you cannot build a business around it, you don't owe us a dime. Mm-hmm. And, we both can walk away, with no hard feelings and no money, and the founder having put none of their own money to do this. More importantly is because we are fundamentally a technology infrastructure company. We built our own language models, so I would say there's a different level of expertise. It's like, think of it, we're like a mini OpenAI, and imagine you went to OpenAI and they helped you build your AI product. Mm-hmm. Of course, we're not OpenAI, but we're like a small mini version of OpenAI. And so the quality of engineering talent working on this is an order of magnitude better than going to a dev shop who's working on 50 things other than AI. In our case, we're very AI focused, and largely on basically, again, we say B2B vertical AI. We do some consumer, but the way we see is B2B vertical AI is where there are enormous amount of companies that will get created, and so building a business can be a lot more incremental. What I'm seeing with consumer ones is it's like an all or nothing scenario. So unless you can raise enough money, it's hard to validate ideas there.
I love it. All right, we're going to take a quick little break, and when we come back, I got a ton of questions for you. Like, what's next for you, for all of you? What are you working on now? Why do you love what you're doing? Those type of questions. And another question I always like to understand is, what got you in to being an entrepreneur? Like, what was that tipping point where you go, I'm going to do it on my own? So when we come back, we'll tackle those questions. All right, we're back with Iddo, Akash, and Hans, and we're geeking out about startup and a lot of new technology coming our way and an easy way to build it. But during the break, we were talking about what's next, what would be a win for you. And Iddo, you kind of got us excited because you said you want to do something crazy, and we were like, wait, don't tell us off air, Brian. Brian, you stopped him short.
Well, anybody says, "Oh, I'm thinking about doing something crazy." I am like, "What does that mean exactly?"
Yeah. So go ahead. I'm going to let you launch into that. So you're working on something, and you feel like it's the next step. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'll let you rip.
We have over 3,500 startups going through our training to raise the round, and I think the most important element of that is to have a killer pitch deck that totally target towards Silicon Valley investors. That's what we practice in. And we were working with tons of startups that, and what we thought yesterday, what if, I know it's crazy, but we're just going to open it to the public today. What if we're going to post somewhere, Brian post a code here, and will enable people to get it for free. So any founders will be able to log in and to get full template instructions, video instruction, how to craft the Silicon Valley style killer pitch deck. With all, so at the end of the process, they can just go to investors and raise money.
Oh, so okay, I'm kind of caught off guard. This sounds like a big gift and a big step. So what you're saying is you've built how to raise the round. There's a website. You'll give that website address, which is raisearound.com. I'm assuming.
Yes.
Raisearound.com, and what was previously a package to the public, you're now providing free of charge.
Free of charge. We're gonna give you guys like a promo code it's like $2,000 worth of course, and we're gonna give a few hundreds of those just for free.
Amazing.
For the audience here.
I'm in shock. Yeah. So thank you.
Emotional, damn it.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Good. Brian, did you hit the right one? You're looking for the applause button. I
don't know what I'm trying for something here, but no, not really.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much.
It deserves something though, Brian.
Yeah. So
let's go back and just recap, shall we?
Yeah. Go.
RaiseTheRound.com. Iddo has given away the secret sauce. Is that really kind of the what we're talking about here, of how to create a killer pitch deck?
Is that what we're hearing correctly?
Absolutely.
What a gift.
All the slides, all the deck explanation of how creating a sequence that literally have every ingredients investor wants to hear in order to get them fully excited about the project.
Incredible. Thank you.
Yeah.
So if you are, okay, I'm a little taken aback because I'm seeing the big picture right now. So if you're thinking about launching a startup and you are sitting on the sidelines waiting for that information, here's what a lot of people make the mistake in doing. They often think of, in a pitch, why are you doing what you're doing? Okay. And what are you doing? Why are you doing it? What are you doing it? And then founders get stuck on the how. What I'm hearing today is, you're providing the how and how to communicate your idea. Akash and Hans are providing the service of the how to build it. And so if you are out there
almost risk-free,
there is no excuse for you to not go find a customer and connect with these companies, raise the round, learn how to pitch it, and connect with Akash and Hans to build the product. I don't think in the history of podcasts we've provided that this has been provided. Yes, here on Silicon Valley Impact. I'm taking it back. So, am I hearing this right, Akash? If people could learn to pitch this idea, come to you and build it, and now there's no excuse.
Absolutely, there is no excuse.
There is no excuse. And so, same question for you during the break. What's next? What are you excited about? It sounds like you are looking for more customers and now are engaging with more founders. Actually, this sounds like an incredible opportunity. What's next for you guys?
So it's more than next for us. It's an interesting phenomenon that I said we were just kind of observing over the past few months, that in the world of software, it's always been you build a piece of software and maximize the number of customers you have. Mm-hmm. And that limits the number of companies that can play in a particular vertical. So that's why this whole thing of I'll be a market leader, I'll be number 2, I'll be number 3, and there's no space for 4, 5, 6, 7 out there. At least in vertical AI, I see that being a very different phenomena. Because AI makes building software much easier, there is going to be no value for horizontalized least common denominator software in the long run. Mm-hmm. It's almost like rather than building a piece of software and maximizing 1,000 customers, what you're better off doing is getting 50, 100 customers and maximizing your revenue from that customer with the product that you're building, being a frame of reference of what AI can do for them, and then building almost custom AI. In that scenario, it's like those 50, 100, 150, 200 customers trust you or your organization to be that custom AI provider for you. And for them, sorry. And that's a very sticky business. And what this means is that this could create 10 to 50 times more companies than the SaaS or the software revolution created, or tech entrepreneurs. And also it means that, like, you analyze any software company's balance sheet, 90% of the cost is G&A. R&D costs are like less than the coffee bill in most software companies. With this, essentially, SG&A costs pretty much disappear because you are the founder. Once you deliver success for a particular problem or a particular vertical or a vertical within a vertical, it's almost that basically the next set of customers just fall in line because they've seen that working in, for one particular vertical, that for one customer within that vertical. So it's a much more risk-free way, a much more incremental way to build companies, how it was done in the past, possibly, and you don't. And this also interestingly changes the whole power law concept in Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley, it's a well understood fact. 5% of the startups will make it, 95% will die by the wayside. Main Street doesn't work that way. The way I see it now is that, with the cost of building the company reducing, with you maximizing your revenue per customer, in a world where basically more than 50 to 70% of startups can actually end up making money and becoming, if not very successful, moderately successful. It's not going to be a case where 5% succeed, the other 95% fall by the wayside. In this case, it's going to be, yes, 5% succeed exceedingly well, another 60% succeed moderately, and sure, there'll be about 30% that will fall by the wayside. And this is, again, a very sea change in the way tech is created. It doesn't converge. It's not a winner-takes-all business any longer, what tech has fundamentally become in the past, where you had one social network, one operating system, one of everything. Now it's a massive amount of variety. There's a lot more diversity. And that, I think, it's not something exciting. I would say something we are doing. I'm just seeing this kind of trend taking shape.
I love, and the economic boom that comes from that increased success is going to be just incredible. A lot of people are afraid that tech will take jobs, but what I'm hearing is no, with this boom, with this game changer, it's going to create a lot more opportunities. Hans, double click on that. We're talking about what you guys are working on next, educating the market. Add to what Akash is saying, but also you are a go-to-market expert. You have some insight on what it really takes. If there's no excuse for startups to put together the appropriate pitch deck to frame what they need to frame, to raise the round, they have access to now building a product. What's left, the next stage, is go to market.
Being a human, right? So we tend to have this conversation that you can differentiate off of white glove service. I think that's going to become very apparent, that the human touch that you have is going to continue to play, right? I think that one of the things that I'm very excited to see over the next little bit is, we've had the opportunity to work with almost close to 50 amazing companies and founders throughout this program since we incepted it about a little less than 6 months ago or so. I'm very excited to see some of those founders come out of stealth. We've got some amazing products that I wish we could talk about, but I'm not going to steal their thunder, obviously. So I'm excited for those to come out, but I'm also excited for more individuals to understand and come to the point of realization that, hey, I don't have to be, the likes of these major organizations to have, the money, the infrastructure, the knowledge to create these products. Guess what, everyone? The day for that has completely changed, right? You can be an individual that comes to us with an idea on a napkin and create commercials off of something that came off of a napkin a quarter ago. That's never been done before. And especially when it comes down to the fact that you can utilize, I tend to say, you read a book in 70s and 80s talking about entrepreneurship. How do they say to start a company? Go to your friends, use your own money, do those types of things. To create AI companies or SaaS organizations previously, you couldn't do that. Now you can go do that, right? And you can do so through a platform and working with a company that does so in a completely risk-adverse way, right? So really it's all about you. Hey, can I go out execute somebody, create something of value, and just go scale it? Right? Like it's the Wild West when it comes to AI, but it is the most fun right now to go build a company. So I'm just extremely excited to see the amazing ideas and to continue to see the snowball effect of these amazing founders and people.
So until this becomes mainstream, right? The way you do a startup, people who come this route learn to pitch, have a product built, not have to spend any of your money at that point, but you're still responsible for getting buy-in from customers. What is next? What is next? Okay, like there's a thing in Silicon Valley and the world over called imposter syndrome. And when you remove the excuse of communicating your idea effectively, removing the excuse of funding a product for an MVP, you're left with now who can, like you said, who can go out and execute. Mm-hmm. What does that look like? And kind of lean on your own experience. When it came time to execute, you were saying sell, right? Now you have to sell. So what's next?
It's funny to say, like, it's 80% mindset, right, for everything. So if you have a day job and you want to do something, I agree with you. Today, there's so many tools out there. You can literally learn how to pitch. You can build an AI product by yourself. It's almost finding something that you're passionate about, and this is your thing, and validate it with the market and just build it.
So it's back to now bringing that passion out, connecting with people, and leaning into the wind of the market and figuring out how you're going to communicate it. And you guys are doing these events. Mm-hmm. And you had one last week. You want to talk about that a little bit? You have one coming up, which I think is going to be, is it tonight, which is Tuesday, or is it Wednesday? Remember I was asking you, is it
tomorrow?
Tuesday? It's going to be Wednesday.
Oh, no, sorry. Was it
Thursday?
Thursday, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I messed that up.
Okay, so
tell us more about the event. What's this
talk about that.
Well, so I'm going to talk about the previous events. I'll let this guy talk about the other events. But what we did with these showcases, so Akash and I we were hanging out on a Sunday talking, and we both looked at each other and said, hey, man, out of the companies we have over 10 of them that are out to market. Some are creating commercials off of these MVPs. Wow. This is an amazing story. This has flipped the way in which you can build these companies completely on its head, right? Mind you, most of these companies are pre-seed cap tables. They've not taken investor funding, but they're all post-revenue. That's a pretty unique thing in our minds. So we said, okay, let's give these founders the opportunity to go pitch. We called it a pitch night, but really it was a showcase of, hey, you can go create an AI-first organization, go to market, generate revenue off of that in a short amount of time, while at the same time, potentially working a day job also. So that's the other thing that we're seeing is you don't have to just be somebody that is completely devoted towards that startup, right? Maybe work your job as an operator, get to the point where you can be comfortable in which that you can build this company, right? Why do companies fail? They run out of funding, they run out of burn, right? It usually has to do with that. So that's what we did with the showcase. You were there too. And now we've got some other pretty thought-provoking conversations we're going to have over the next week.
I want to start a startup. I mean, that's where I'm at right now. I want to learn how to pitch, and I want to start. Okay, all right. I'm thinking of ideas right now. So, Akash, talk about the second event that Hans was talking about. What do we have to look for in that?
Sure. So it's actually a discussion on this. The title of the event is the Lean Vertical AI Startup. Mm-hmm. So we have the startups which raise a lot of money.
Give the date on that one because I know it's still to come.
It's July 17th in Mountain View at the JJ Lake Business Center.
Oh, that is this there. Okay, so wink, wink. It already passed.
It was July 17th. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about how great it was. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that it did set the cat among the pigeons a bit because everybody's so used to looking at you raise, then build, and then you scale, and you maximize your customer base. There'll be so many winners. You raise so much money. By the time that you reached a certain scale, the founder's down to 10%, to a point of saying, to be a successful AI company, you can turn this on the head. Don't try to maximize your customer base. Maybe you're saying, okay, I'll just get to 30% of my customers for a product like mine, but I'm maximizing my customer revenue. I'm building much smaller companies in terms of the human footprint, but very good revenue companies that are out there, basically. So it's back to how software consulting companies were created, but AI just accelerates that by a factor of 100x, both in terms of the amount of ideas you can work on, and two, also basically the speed at which you can generate revenue. Earlier, if it took 6 months to build software, now you can do the same thing in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then basically it means the opportunities are a lot more. And I think we're moving to a point where, at least in the B2B space, and I don't, on the consumer space, I won't comment. It's going to be finally the way you build a product, you learn, and the learning and the attention that you give to your customers is more important than the software that you've created.
Say that again. I think that's so important.
I said, it's like, let's say you built a product, you learn a lot while building a product for your customer, but the real value is not in the code. You can find another agentic to do this for you. It's the learning and the attention that you give to that customer and applying it towards that customer's problem specific to them, which basically is very true. It's very much into that individual itself. So it's almost like you can't scale humanity. It's kind of, you can't create a Picasso by putting 20 artists.
Yeah.
So you're becoming a Picasso for your 50, 100, 200 customers.
So would that be one of the red flags that you would look for in, for lack of a better term, funding a company? Like they come to you, you want to build them a company, that they may not qualify because it's too complicated with that kind of, because you don't just take anybody, do you? Or do you?
In fact, we like complicated ideas, because more the complicated ideas, the chance that if you get one successful customer, you don't have to spend on GTM. Like there's one founder we're going to start working with. They're in the semiconductor space, looking at process node migrations. Now that's a very hard problem. You nail that problem, there are probably 100 semiconductor companies in Silicon Valley who'll just follow in line if you're able to solve that problem for them. And is it a multi-billion-dollar TAM? No. Is it a $100 million TAM? Absolutely. And you could pretty much own it with almost zero sales and marketing. You could just have an engineering company doing this, because it's such a hard problem that once you fix that, the word spreads that somebody's come up with a fix for that particular problem.
Yeah. Wow. Incredible. Okay. So I'm fascinated by what you all are doing. Let's talk a little bit before we go. I'm always curious, what is it? Number one, this is the first question. And the second one is going to be like, what got you into it? What is it that you love about what you're working on? And, I'll start with you. You've been in this game for a while. You're now helping other founders reach their inflection points and their goals. Like, what keeps you moving forward in this? What do you love about what you're working on?
That's a great question. I love the community. Being a founder, it's pretty lonely, all right? Like you're selling, even sometimes to your spouse, to yourself, that this is going to be okay. And there's no reason to be alone. Like you need like a village to raise a child. There's an analogy, like you need a village to raise a startup. And we love that there are thousands of founders together and everyone is a superhero. This is a very spiky talent environment. So every founder bring their own skill into the game and giving others. And building something like that together, it's mind-blowing. I think on that sense, I would like to throw one more thing. Like I would love to invite you guys on the 29th. So it's not in the past. This will be in the future. That's a real invitation right here. We're going to have an open conversation at the 29th, 5 p.m. PST about all the 10 mental shifts founders need to make in order to raise money. In order to raise money in 2025, like what are the 10 most important things you need to do?
Give us 3 or 1. Give us a little tease.
Absolutely. Number 1 is get an engineering approach to fundraising. Stop going around begging for intros. Actually, today, when you're going to go, the 29th will be the last day you're going around begging for intros. You're going to have a big stream of investors for your space, for your stage, that you can literally contact them like human. That doesn't require the intros. You learn how to identify them and how to approach them in scale.
I love that. Okay. All right.
Maybe I'll just make one more invitation.
Yeah. Keep them coming. You've already provided a bunch of value. I love it.
That's at 29. And I would like to invite everyone to come with us to TechCrunch Disrupt. This is in October. What we do, we call it boots on the ground. We literally come and we pitch investors together. Come with us. I'll pitch your startup to investor. You're going to see me going to angel investor and TechCrunch Disrupt. We have the list before we get it. We contact them. We let them know they're going to be there. We know how to identify them. And we go, last time we were about 70 founders going around working like a pack, like a tribe, like introducing one another, referring one another. And we got a lot of great contact and beautiful investments out from there.
Well, I can double down on that because we're going to be doing a big after party at TechCrunch. So there's going to be more information to come on that. And we're just going to be right down the street. So I'll be launching that invitation soon. And then also on July 28th at Stack, Isabel Johansson will be speaking at our speaker series, and she's with the TechCrunch Startup Battlefield. So if you want to learn more insights into how to pitch and what they look for, come check that out. That's July 27th at Stack in Oakland, 1900 Broadway. Hope you all can be there. But Akash, I got to ask you, what is it that you love about what you're doing now? I'm going to come back and have you, Hans, answer the same question. But I'm also going to want to know a little bit like what got you into entrepreneurship? What, where did this blood come from? I'm curious about that. But first, what is it about what you're working on now that you love?
I think there are two things. So one is being a technologist, being someone who writing code. AI is a technically challenging problem. So like any engineer, sometimes it's like, for the artist, it's the love of the art. Here it's the love of the engineering. Just love to solve a problem, even if it, and if you have enough money, great. Second part is I've always been a startup guy. I'm hopelessly biased in favor of startups and hopelessly biased against big companies. So the fact that the way I see it, and I probably will be on a limb predicting this, that in the next 10 years, 30% of the US economy would be companies that we don't see today. And just the fact that this creative destruction is the wrong word, but just the fact that you're going to have this massive amount of entrepreneurship that AI creates is very exciting, because I feel startups and entrepreneurship is meritocracy at its best. There's no politics, there's no job protect. You're not building stuff basically based on factors other than just the merit of basically what you're building, and that's the cool part of startups, and that's always exciting for me. And this just enables that thing to happen at a much more accelerated scale, much shorter timelines. What was 10 years now becomes 2 years, and what was probably 1,000 startups now is like 1 million startups. So that's the scale is just interesting.
Hey, I've got a curious question. I don't know, this might be my brain going out too far, but will how we see startups today be in 10 to 15 years how we see then how we see small business now? So small business, you open up shop, mom and pop, you find yourself a location and you kind of just throw open the doors. Is that going to be in the future, small business?
I completely agree. Mm-hmm. I completely agree. I think these will be interesting. They'll be like 2-person, $10 million companies. So they're like a mom and pop shop with the revenue of a mid-market company or a mid-sized company.
Oh, that's so exciting.
That's what gets super exciting. Yeah.
I love it. Hans, I know you love what you're doing.
Yeah, man. I would say what got me into this was my experiences, right? I at some point in time, I'll write a book about it, but I've had the experience of doing well with amazing people that you really loved working with, and then doing really well with people that you don't have that same interest with. Akash, working with him, the team that we have, it's been utopia to say the least, right? But I will say the problems that we're working on, right, from a business and technical perspective, these are some of the most challenging things. And from my experience being in infrastructure and AI for as long as I have, I've seen how much money goes into these things and the amazing things companies can do when they have the data, the infrastructure, when they have the personnel and the people. What I love is that that's all gone. You can do it with 2 people, right? So the fact of the matter of these companies creating demonstrable MVPs that have value and then getting them out to production, doing so in a way with not that many people, that to me is the most amazing thing. And I want to continue to see more people transparently celebrate commercial wins outside of just, the funding wins too, which are all very much important. But I think there's a trend that's happening, right? And that's just becoming to more people being educated on what goes into building a company from a capital perspective. So
I love it. And Akash, I'm going to come back to you because, and Iddo, I'm going to ask you the same question. Like, we can go back years. What was it that was in you or around you that you said, I got to build it myself. I want to be an entrepreneur. What was that moment?
So I'm very lucky. I'm born in a family where my father is a tech entrepreneur. He, in fact, built the first personal computer in India back in 1980. And I started working with him when I was 12 or 13. I should just attend the work, listen to what's happening on the factory floor, building computers, assembling boards. So I don't think I could ever think of anything other than entrepreneurship. So I wouldn't say there was an aha moment. It was almost like...
It was your sandbox.
My father almost molded me to becoming an entrepreneur. So I think it was more his choice of how he molded me more than my own initiative, I would say.
And I mean, the way that you talk about it and what you're creating now, it's no surprise that this love of entrepreneurship and for, solving pain points is just radiating from you. And you got this guy Hans with you. It's amazing. I can't speak highly enough of you two and what you're doing. So definitely appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you, man.
And how did you get into it? What was that moment where you said, I can build it myself, and I'm going to go out on my own?
I don't know. It's almost like asking a fish, what do you think about the water around you?
The last one to know, right?
And that's what it is. You learn about it when they take it away from you. Mm-hmm. So one day Google came and knocked on the door and say, hey guys, we love you up. Can we buy you? And that was a fun moment, right? We were waiting for that moment for a long time. We negotiated, we got into the deal, and actually we became the front end of Android messages, who become Google messages. That I got the luxury to see how it goes from 30 million with the team to 100 million users, 1 billion users, and today it's 5 billion users. And the team grew up, we were 7 people. When I left was over 250.
Amazing.
And one thing I learned is that as much as I admire Google and, like only good things, I'm an entrepreneur. That was taken away from me while I was at Google. And there was something like fire that said, hey, go back. And I think I exceeded all expectations of all my friends, how long I stayed at Google. This is freedom of creating. And once you also master fundraising and master AI, like once you have the tools that you need, this is freedom. Like you can go and bring the top talents to work with you, bring product and go to the market and see what the market really wants, and the ability to bring tremendous value to other people that improves their life. I think that's a big part of my drive.
I saw your whole body grab onto that word freedom.
Yes.
And that has to be just what is driving you from the inside out. Is this experience, this entrepreneurship journey, is freedom for you. You create freedom for others. And again, I got to say to you, my hat's off. Congratulations on all your success. How can people connect with you?
Yeah, just DM me on LinkedIn, on WhatsApp, on email, iddo@me.com, iddo@restaurant.com. Just contact us. Come to our live events. Like on the 29th, we have one. Come talk to us. See other founders. If you have an idea, and I find that those ideas choose us, not we choose the idea, right? Almost like you have many ideas, and then you forget about. But suddenly there's an idea that doesn't let go, and choose you. And this is the time to go validate it, build it, raise money for it. And become the leader of a market, bring tremendous value to other people. What's possible to the world if all of you really pursue the dream, raise money, become leader in the field? What ripple effect, the work that it has over the world. And I think that's one of the things that makes me happy.
I love it. Well, I appreciate all the offers that you've made. We'll have those in the show notes. How to connect with you, you said on the 29th. And that's a reoccurring event, right?
No, that will be a one-off.
A one-off. Okay, so we'll have all that information in our show notes. You can connect with Iddo. Akash, how can people connect with you?
You can look me up on LinkedIn. It's my full name is Akash Saraf. And you can also email me at akash@theagentic.ai.
Okay.
Yeah. So Hans Sandhu on LinkedIn, and then my full name is Hans Preet, HANSPREET at theagentic.ai. You can come get me. But if you have any ideas, right, you've run a SWOT analysis on that idea, you've done some napkin math, send it to me, right? I'm happy to sign any M&DA, anything like that, guys. But yeah, more than happy to take any ideas and essentially build companies off of them.
Love it. Well, I can't thank you guys enough for bringing tremendous value to our audience today. Thank you for being here. You're amazing. Connect with these guys. Brian, thanks for doing what you're doing, buddy.
Thank you, Brian. Great show. Thank you.
We'll see you all next week. Stay safe. See you soon.